What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. Time Reviews, episode 215. And on today's episode, we got a lot to discuss. We got MLB injuries plus firings. We got a lot of World Cup news when it comes to roster spots. Plus, we got some NFL draft recap to discuss. But first, let's head to the world of the NHL. So we'll start this one off in the NHL. The playoffs are underway. Some teams have already clinched a spot. Those two teams are the Carolina Hurricanes and the Colorado Avalanche. Both teams sweeping the first round for them. So pretty nice little couple days off for those guys. But we're going to talk about all the series real quick, little takeaways, and then something big that happened if anything did happen. So obviously Carolina beat Ottawa. Biggest thing, Allmark looked really good. Ottawa needs to find a way to regroup and retool potentially this team. There's no offense on that team at all, which was very surprising, especially with some of the players that they had like Dylan Cousins, Tim Stützle, and Brady Tkachuk. For Carolina, the only thing I'd worry about is their scoring. Lack of scoring was not that great, but could it have been how good Allmark was or how bad the scoring is for Carolina? So that's something to look forward moving on into the next rounds. But this team is built to win the Stanley Cup, so they're a very scary team in the East. So I'm recording this on Monday before the games have started. So the games have been on Monday. I don't know what's going to happen, obviously. If I finished editing before this is over, then I will put up scores and something that happened there. But as of right now, I'm talking as if these Monday games have not happened yet, even though you guys probably already know what happened. So Buffalo and Boston, 3-1 for Buffalo right now. I think they're rolling Boston. I think they're going to win in Game 5. I don't think it's going back to Boston. So I think Buffalo has that one underway or under sealed up, whatever you're trying to say. But the biggest thing is if they have a slow start and continue to have slow starts, it's going to be tougher against some of these other teams like a Carolina, like a Tampa Bay, or maybe Montreal, which that's going to be the next series. They're headed in Game 5. That series tied at 2, so the best of 3 now between those two teams. I think anything could happen. You can see a game where power play goes one way, the team wins that. A lot of people online are saying Tampa Bay has won this series now, the way that the swing was in Game 4. I say it's not over. I think anything seriously can happen, but it doesn't look great for Montreal. I'm still not ruling them out, though, of the series. I think that series does go 7 games. Then we head to Philly and Pittsburgh. Philly up 3-0, Pittsburgh getting 1. I think this could be a gentleman's sweep, which is really big and unfortunate because if you guys haven't already followed the Instagram, I did put a quick bracket out, just super quick and lazy because I did not have time to do graphics before I left for Missouri. I was in Missouri not that long ago, so I did not have a chance to do an episode or recordings or put out pretty much any sort of content. So I had to put out something before the playoffs started, and I put out the bracket. I think Pittsburgh was going to make potentially the East Finals, if not the Cup Finals, because of the roster that they had and the veteran leadership, but they just have not looked good. I think Philly rolls them. Gentleman's sweep as well for Philly, but Crosby moves to 5th all-time in playoff points. I think Philly will be a sneaky good team, though, in that second round. So it's tough to see Crosby go out the first round, but his team just did not help him out at all. Heading over to the West, Anaheim and Edmonton. Let's talk quickly about that last game, that overtime goal. I'll pop up a picture on the screen of the goal. If you draw a circle around that puck and you draw a straight line on that goal line, that puck is 100% across the goal line. I do not care if you think otherwise. I mean, yes, I'm an Anaheim fan, but I still think, despite not seeing the line because of the skate, which is crazy that the skate is blocking that puck is 100% over the line if you just use common sense. So tough break for Edmonton and Connor McDavid, but they haven't looked all that great, especially defensively. They were up 2-0 in that game, ended up losing in overtime. Anaheim looks very good. I would not be surprised to see Anaheim win Game 5, get a gentleman's sweep over Edmonton, but Game 6 I think is more realistic. I think they win it back at home. Big home ice advantage for Anaheim in that series now. Colorado, LA, we already talked a little bit about this. Colorado looks really good. LA, pathetic performance in the final couple games of Anze Kopitar's career. No offense. Anton Forsberg did not look that bad at all in the series. Game 5 or Game 4 was the worst game for the team. Really pathetic performance in my opinion, but congrats to Kopitar on an amazing career. Dallas, Minnesota, that series is tied at 2. I think this is unreal games we've seen overtime games, we've seen back and forth, we've seen blowouts in that game one. I think regardless of what happens in the first 6 games of this series, I think it's going to game 7. I think anything could happen. I would not be surprised to see that game go to overtime. So I think game 7 is likely for Dallas and Minnesota. And last one, Vegas and Utah. I initially had Utah beating Vegas. I think Vegas, their time has just kind of dwindled a little bit. I don't think this is their year. And Utah, I think, is a sneaky good team. I did not think that they were going to be such a dominant team, but I do think that they were going to beat Vegas. And I still think after watching 3 games, they're going to beat Vegas. I think they should have won that game 1. Vegas squeaked it out. The last 2 games has looked very good for the Mammoth. I think the Mammoth take the last game at home, go over to Vegas, probably lose that one, and come back home, win it in 6. So really interesting to watch that series, though, especially with Vegas being such a powerhouse the last couple of years. Utah, new team, new franchise. Not a lot of expectations, but definitely a lot of excitement from that fan base. So that'll do it for playoff recap. We got a little bit of news though. Kenny Albert breaks the all-time record for most national broadcast telecasts across major 4 North American leagues: NFL, MLB, NBA, and NHL. 1,554 telecasts. And obviously he's done more. He's done college games. He's done Olympics, and he's probably done even more that I'm not even thinking about right now. So congrats to Kenny. He's not going to stop at 1,500. He's definitely going to keep going on that one. And Trevor Lewis announced his retirement from the league. He hasn't played in a while, but the 2006 first-round draft pick played over 1,000 games with LA, Winnipeg, and Calgary, 237 points and 2 Stanley Cups in Los Angeles. Congrats to Trevor Lewis on that career. Let's head to the NFL now. We'll start off with the draft recap. Only the notables. We won't talk about all of them, the teams specifically. Yes, I'm more of a college football fan than an NFL fan, so I know some of these guys' names, but getting deep down into, is that a good offensive line, bad defensive lineman pick kind of thing, I don't know that well, but let's just talk about some of the big names. Fernando Mendoza, no big shocker there. First overall in this year's draft, going to Las Vegas. I do not think he will start year 1. He may get some near the end of the season, but I would be remorse to say that Mendoza would never play a snap in the first season of his NFL career, but I would be very surprised to see him starting over Kirk Cousins early in the season. Arizona drafted one of my favorite picks in this draft, Jeremiah Love, running back from Notre Dame. Becomes also the highest paid running back in NFL history, and he hasn't even played a snap. $53 million for him. I love Jeremiah Love. I thought he was the Heisman winner this last season with Notre Dame. He looked great in the last 2 seasons over there for the Fighting Irish. I think he's going to be very good in Arizona. The bad thing is they don't have much of an offensive line, so can they protect him? Can they get a lot of holes for Love to make a difference? I'm not too sure. I would like to hope so, but regardless, congrats to Jeremiah Love. Big payday there, being 3rd overall in this draft. New Orleans drafts Jordan Tyson, Arizona State 8th overall. Very excited to see Tyson getting into the top 10. Arizona got 2 guys in the first round, which is the first time in like over 20 years. So congrats to them. But Jordan Tyson go to New Orleans. If he plays well, I'm going to see that New Orleans jersey in my closet pretty damn soon. Dallas drafts Caleb Downs from Ohio State, 11th overall. Pretty nice pickup there. Mekhi Lemon, one of my favorite wide receivers in this draft. Right behind Tyson, but a little biased because Tyson being an Arizona State guy. But Lemon, I think, is the second best, if not the best, wide receiver in this draft from USC. Goes 20th overall to Philadelphia. 1 pick before Pittsburgh, where Pittsburgh said that they were going to be picking him up. Philly came out of nowhere and ended up drafting Lemon. I think he's going to be a good pick for the Eagles there. So I'm curious to see what happens this upcoming season with A.J. Brown now. But Lemon could be given a good opportunity right out of the gate. Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker from Texas Tech, goes to Miami, 43rd overall. Really like that pickup for him. Carson Beck, 65th overall, Miami, going over to the Cardinals. I'm very surprised about this one. Now the Arizona Cardinals going running back and quarterback in the first 3 rounds. I don't think this is a great pick. I don't know what they're going to do when it comes to quarterback situation. There's no real leadership there. I think Gardner Minshew right now is going to be the leader and the starter next season, but that's still not a great situation if you want to be in for a NFL franchise. So Carson Beck might get spots right out of the gate. I'm going to say probably Minshew gets, or whoever else in front of Beck is going to get 4 games maybe, and then Carson Beck will start in either the 4th or the 5th game of the season. And the last one, talk about Zachariah Branch from Georgia, wide receiver, Atlanta, 79th overall, staying home. I like this pick. I think Branch could do something special there, and I think he could be a sneaky good pickup, especially at 79th overall. He's already familiar with the Georgia area, and the Georgia fans love him. I think he's going to get a big fan base following over at the Falcons. The Niners announced that they extended Trent Williams to 2 years, $50 million. That's okay with me. And Dallas extends Brendan Aubrey 4 years, $28 million, making him the highest paid kicker in the league. Also fine with it. Aubrey kicks a lot of field goals, and he drills, I think, over 90% of his field goals inside 50 yards. So not surprised he's getting that money. Let's head over to the MLB now, where Boston announced 5 coaching firings, including manager Alex Cora. The team has just not looked good this season. I don't think it's going to get much better if it was going to be this crew here. So I don't know who's going to be taking that over. I don't think they've announced interim head coaching spots yet, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Boston. Are they going to be a fire sale? Is it going to be a big potential regroup, retool, rebuild? I don't know, but 5 coaching fires in the same day, not very common in regardless any league. Dodgers Edwin Diaz will be out a long time, supposedly potentially months, after having surgery on his elbow to remove loose bodies. So that's going to be interesting to see what Diaz's recovery process is, but he hasn't been pitching all that well, but it could be because of the injury. The Mets, Francisco Lindor, injured himself running the bases the other day. It is unclear how long he will be out, so that's something to note. Toronto's Max Scherzer is on the IL with a forearm and ankle injury. And then we had just some of the milestones. Dodgers Miguel Rojas hit the 1,000 hit mark. The Ohtani's on-base streak ends at 53 games. Mason Miller from the San Diego Padres extends his scoreless streak of 34.2 innings pitched, now a Padre record. I think this guy's winning the Cy Young as long as he keeps it up. He's got to stay healthy, and I think he's going to, so it's just going to be, can he keep up this performance? Can hitters figure out a way to either hit the fastball, which is coming in at 102 consistently, or the slider, which is around like 89 miles per hour, so probably around 20 mile per hour difference between fastball to slider, which is unreal. So something to note there for Mason Miller, just to watch out. But I think Cy Young is definitely possible. Reliever has not won a Cy Young since 2003. I think this could be the year as long as Miller keeps up what he's doing. And then Boston's Aroldis Chapman now becomes the second all-time in reliever strikeouts, 1,341 strikeouts for Chapman. And the last little weird milestone, Cincinnati Reds player Will Benson becomes the first player to score 2 runs without seeing a pitch. Very surprising, weird stat. Intentional walks are obviously pitchless, and then you also have the ghost runners on second, so that's technically pitchless as well. So really weird stat, something I don't think you're going to see very much of, but I thought might as well include it just because it's so bizarre and out there. All right, let's head to the cleanup. We'll start off with the soccer news. Leicester City will be relegated to the 3rd division next season. This is 10 years after they won the Premier League, so this is a big news when it comes to English soccer. Leicester City, not one of the top clubs when you think about, but definitely one you think as being a Premier League or Championship League team. Definitely not a 3rd division team. So tough news for Leicester City. Chelsea announces the firing of head coach Liam Rosenior. After 106 days of being in charge, he did sign a multi-year deal initially, but have lost 5 straight games without scoring 1 goal. So that's it for Chelsea head coach Liam Rosenior. I think Rosenior, I'm not too sure, but 106 days at the helm. Not a good tenure for him. Lamine Yamal injured himself with a hamstring and will be questionable for the start of the World Cup for Spain. So this is big news here. And we got less than 50 days away until Mexico versus South Africa, the home opener and the World Cup opener for this upcoming year. Sergio Nagbe will be out for the World Cup with Germany. He tore an adductor. And the last one with soccer news, Javi Simmons will be out for the World Cup for Netherlands after a torn ACL. So roster spots are locked, I believe, June 1st. The U.S., I think, announced that they're going to be announcing theirs around like May 26th or 27th, I believe, in New York. They're going to make a big deal about it, I guess. I don't know. But you have until the end of May, early June, which I believe, again, is June 1st, to lock in that roster spot. So there's still some time for players to get in, but there's still a lot of time for players to get out, which, unfortunate news for some of these guys, could be the end of their World Cup. Carson Hocevar from NASCAR earns his 4th career win at Talladega this past week in a very good race between Hocevar and the field. Good for him, though, to hold it off, and he got the win there. The NASCAR standings, though, Reddick still number 1 at 484 points. Hamlin at 2, Blaney at 3, Elliott at 4, Gibbs at 5, Larson at 6, Buescher at 7, Hocevar moves up to 8, Bell at 9, Keselowski at 10, Byron at 11, Wallace at 12, Preece at 13, Suarez at 14, Logano at 15, and Cedric at 16. That would be the playoffs if it started today. Briscoe at 17, Chastain at 18, Van Gisbergen, at 19, and Smith and Allmendinger are tied at 20th. Last thing to talk about, Texas Tech quarterback Brandon Sorsby entered residential treatment program for a gambling addiction. Supposedly, he's been placing gambling bets on Indiana back in 2022 while he was on the team. Now, we don't know what those bets were specifically. We don't know if he had anything to do with the games themselves that he was in. But regardless, he was on the team. He was betting on the team back in 2022. Plus, there's also news that he was going to Cincinnati Red games while out there in Cincinnati with the Bearcats. Last season, I think last 2 seasons he's been at Cincinnati. He supposedly went to Reds games and put live bets on balls and strikes from anywhere from $1 to $2.50. I don't know where they got this dollar amount, but that's 2 big things coming out. And I think this is just going to be the first of many players in pro sports and in collegiate sports that are going to be, unfortunately, facing something like this, because there's gambling all over the place of sports. You see it all over ads of boards. You see it on jerseys of soccer. You see it on NASCARs. You see it everywhere. Then you watch a sports game. Even with the simple fact of sometimes our broadcasters put out their sports bets to like run promotions for the sport betting app or websites. It's all over the place. You can't avoid it. I think it's just going to get worse when it comes to players not being able to control themselves. I'm happy that Sorsby is going to be able to try and find help for his sake, but it's not looking good if you're betting on your own team, if you're betting on simple things of balls and strikes while you're at the game. You're not even enjoying the game, you're betting at the game. Not a good situation there. So hopefully Sorsby gets it situated there, but there could be quarterback debate now for Texas Tech next season. They spent a lot of money on Sorsby to be their quarterback next year. All right, let's hit the games of the weekend. We'll start off with the MLB Reds versus Pirates. That's a 3-game set. NHL, this is weird because we have potential Game 7s on Saturday and Sunday for the first round, but if nobody makes that, we could have second round starting this upcoming weekend, which could be good news. So we should have hockey, whether it is a Game 7 or whether it is a second round, I do not know. Obviously, we will know later on in the week. English Premier League, we got Manchester United versus Liverpool Sunday at 7:30 a.m. MLS, we got Chicago versus Cincinnati Saturday at 5:30 p.m. NASCAR, Texas Motor Speedway Sunday at 12:30 p.m. on FS1. And lastly, Formula 1 is back. We got Crypto.com Miami Grand Prix on Sunday at 1 p.m. All right, guys, that would do it for this episode. 215 episodes in the books. We appreciate you guys so much. Make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe, the bell icon so you guys are notified when episodes like this drop. Plus, go check out the socials because I try And I'm not doing a great job, but I'm trying to post more on the socials. I'm just not a big social media guy, but I'm trying my best to keep up with it. But if you want to see my picks for things like college basketball, college football, and even the most recently NHL bracket, it's all on the Instagram, which is also in the links down below. So go check out that. And have an awesome rest of your week, and we'll see you guys later.